bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Happy Friday. It is the Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Thank you for joining us. 3 full hours with us. We will take you all the way up to 3 o'clock. Clint Scott, we champ Matt Estenson in the Heezy. Brennan, paid employee behind the glass, taking care of us, hitting all the hotkeys and all the good stuff. Brennan, what is your hotkey number back there too? Jamie and I were trying to, off the top of our head, just trying to remember everything that we have. You know what? That might take you a while to calculate, but if you just estimated.
There's over 50.
Wow. He's racked up a lot. We are live from the First United Bank studio. You can call us on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. If you call that number, Brennan will give you random conversation pieces for Thanksgiving next week. Go ahead and write them on your cue cards. You just have them ready to go.
Did you know that hamburger helper is an acceptable Thanksgiving food, contrary to what the family says?
You're not bringing that.
If someone asks me to bring food, I'm bringing.
I want you to without them asking this year.
They're like Brennan, just bring napkins. Okay.
Go get the ice.
Yeah.
That's exactly what my job is. It's always, okay, here's grandfather's card. Go to the convenience store and get a bag of ice.
It's not even you getting the ice.
Your card. Brennan, you're letting me down here.
It's just sacrificing your time for, what, 5 minutes?
Do you put $5 in gas on Poppy's card as well as you grab the ice? Like, oh, can't pay for nothing.
You're just like, man, ice is expensive these days. That ice cost me $30. That's crazy. Inflation, am I right?
Yeah.
Hey, you can also hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, reactions. Don't forget, take us anywhere with the mobile app. It's brought to you by Happy State Bank. We're also streaming live on Fox 34 News Now and on YouTube. Optimum Game Day Live tomorrow will start at 7 on Double T 97.3. It will carry you all the way through the Double T 97.3 Coors Light post-game show. That is a 4 o'clock kick. Final home game of the season. Second to last regular season game. In general, you are taking on UCF, both 5-5. Matt, how was your Friday?
It's been fantastic.
Do you have all of your Thanksgiving plans in order?
Yeah, for the most part we do. We always do it at my cousin's house.
Oh, that's nice that you have like the go-to spot.
Yeah.
Your side of the family?
Yeah. Yeah, well, hers is in Georgia, so yeah, we're not traveling.
So.
No, it's always good. We have a good time. And
what do you bring? Do you bring like tuna helper?
So my aunt rolled out
Pastaroni?
a text which I ignored, but my wife got it. So of what everybody in the family needs to bring, and of course anybody can bring additional stuff as well.
Yeah.
But man, it's a good time. My family likes to cut loose and have a few cocktails. And
I was gonna say, you like walking in like 10 a.m. and it's like, who wants shots?
Not shots, but I always have the uncle that brings the whiskey, and he's like, "Oh, it's so smooth," and then he makes the face up. And I'm like, "That's not smooth." You never seen people that drink whiskey?
No,
like
I
that?
have, but he.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's always like, "It's so smooth." I'm like, "There is no bourbon or whiskey that's smooth." I'm sorry.
You need to try to do that with some like low grade, like sit there with like Kentucky Deluxe or something, and like
A little bit of KD.
Smooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Now, out of the family, the wife and I are not drinkers. We're I'm
only at Thanksgiving.
Just in general, I might have one drink, but I'm good, man. Water, get home.
Do you ever go to Georgia for the?
Not for the holidays.
Times?
We just came back about a month ago. We went down there and hung out for a week.
The Matty went down to Georgia.
You didn't even notice I wasn't here on
looking for
Friday.
A drink to steal.
Wow. Didn't even miss me or anything. You were like, "Do you go? We don't even care if you're here." Wow.
Oh, was it that weekend? I was gone too. I was also in Georgia.
Yeah, well, fake news.
taking on UCF tomorrow. UCF is coming off by far their best game. They just pound Oklahoma State. They went 45-3. They forced 4 turnovers, a few of those early as well, and really put Oklahoma State in a hole. Do you think that was more about Oklahoma State or more about UCF? Because up until this week, they were, I mean, it's not like they had just been blown out by everybody. You go to that game in Norman, and they had every chance in the world to beat Oklahoma on the road, but they have found ways in Big 12 play to lose, like different ways to lose games.
Well, of course, the Norman game. Then the second one would be what? The Baylor game.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst one, and that was at home.
So you're really looking at a team that, yes, they're 5-5, but could very easily be 7-3. I think their record for UCF doesn't tell the story of the team they are. I think they're very good at rushing and running the ball. I think the game last week against Oklahoma State, I think it was a mixture, to be honest. I think Oklahoma State got a little full of themselves, and they just flat out played like crap. They gave the ball back to them numerous times and couldn't generate nothing. And I think the game still spoke more about UCF. I'm nervous about tomorrow's game. I truly am. I think, like I said, when you look at UCF's record, I mean, they could very easily be 7-3 and be one of the better or the best of the 4 teams of the new addition to the Big 12. And I think they've proven that they definitely, can play with the big boys throughout the year. So
I think it's interesting because you're right. They could you do the what if game with them, and you can do the what if game with yourself as well. So you really have no sympathy for UCF, but it could also go the other way too, right? This could be a 3-7 team. If you go back to an early game against Boise State that they barely win on the road, go to their first Big 12 win ever against Cincinnati, where the Bearcats, who are absolutely a bottom team in the league, where the Bearcats were a 2-point conversion away. It was the same thing for what UCF, if they're looking at that with the game in Norman, and doing if only this, went this way, then we could have won. That's what Cincinnati was doing with UCF. And so even though record-wise, because I agree with you, I think they are better than their record. I don't think they're great, but I think that they are better than their record. Cincinnati's doing that same kind of, if a couple of things go different, and you play down to the Bearcats. So I think last week was a big part of Oklahoma State giving them momentum. And look, UCF took advantage. But if you give any team that sort of early start in the Big 12, I don't care who it is, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose that game. You just are. I think it was a bedlam hangover. Now, I'm not saying, all of that was just a joke and you can't take UCF seriously at all, because you need to. You absolutely need to, and you have plenty of faults of your own. But I don't know if I'm all the way nervous about the game, but I think you could. I mean, would I be shocked if you lost tomorrow? No, not at all.
Well, what everybody's talking about going bowling, right? Bowl game. They're saying the same thing in their locker room.
That's a good point.
They're saying the same thing. We got to win. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a interesting game tomorrow for sure.
Hey, it's a Friday, which means we get to play a little TVT. We'll take versus take. Matty Ice has the we-sponsored questions today. They finna cook you. He is already looking angry, and he's not even competing today, which makes me nervous. It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score. Back with more next.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's time for the fastest growing game show in the world, Take versus Take, a Friday edition. Thank you for joining us here on the Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score. Clint Scott, Matty Ice, BPE, Brennan, and I are your competitors today, which means Matt has the questions, and I think these might be rage-fueled questions. He just keeps on glaring at us.
I don't know who I'm more disappointed in today.
Oh, that's good. You're not mad, you're just disappointed.
Yeah.
We've done one segment, and he's already disappointed in both of us. So.
No, this was previous segments. We know where this originates from. But it's okay. I do have the questions. Clint.
Yes.
You get to go first.
Okay, I get to go first.
Okay. All right. Question number 1. What 4 Thanksgiving food items makes it into your Thanksgiving college football playoffs? Only 4. Clint. Only 4.
Yeah. I like the use of the college football playoff. That's well done. And next year we can do 12 Thanksgiving. I'm just kidding.
No, we'll leave that to Ben to ask y'all.
Just kidding. No. That was a low blow. Okay, so does it matter if they're ordered like in importance?
No, just pick your 4. Yeah, no rankings. Just
so
4.
stuffing has to be in there. It has to.
Okay.
I am a bird over ham guy. If you're gonna have ham, that's fine, but you got to do a little extra work for me, and you got to also have the bird.
Turkey stuffing.
And if you just, you know what, if you wanted to make it easy and you just wanted to do like turkey, like drumsticks, and you just wanted to get some dark meat, save yourself some time or whatever, that's fine. But turkey has to be there.
Okay.
And then you have to have mashed potatoes to me. It's just that little trio right there is also going to be a pretty good little layers on your leftover sandwich.
See what you're doing.
I'm not viewing gravy as a food. Can I assume it's there?
You can assume it's there.
I'm going to assume gravy is there, and so you have to have a dessert. And I think, like, I love pumpkin pie, but I'm a seasonal pumpkin pie guy.
Okay.
Like, I used to be able, like if it was in March, I'd be like, oh, you got pumpkin pie? Sure, I wasn't planning on it, but I'll take a slice. And now, in honor of Thanksgiving, I will turn it down until at least, like, late October.
Okay.
And they can start popping up. Yeah, so turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie.
Okay. Brennan, where do you differ? Where do you go similar? What do you got?
All right, similar. I'm going turkey. That's number 1 seed, but you also got to throw in ham. You got to have different options at the table as far as meat goes, right?
Meat options, horse name.
So there's 2 right there. I'm gonna slightly differ from, because this is in a similar wheelhouse as mashed potatoes. I'm gonna add in macaroni and cheese. I feel that's a pretty common in most Thanksgiving meals.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's pretty easy.
Nothing wrong with it.
You won't hear me complain about mac and cheese any day of the week.
Yeah.
No. And I feel like that's something that everyone could just get a little scoop of and they'll enjoy it. For dessert, I'm going to go opposite of pumpkin pie because I feel that some people are kind of polar opposites on it, especially with the pumpkin craze that is all over, our country.
That's his soapbox when he runs for president.
I'm going to go with pecan pie. I feel, especially here in West Texas, I feel like it's not a Thanksgiving meal without pecan pie at the end of the table.
Yeah, I was deciding between the two. The reason I didn't go pecan pie is because I eat pecan pie year round. Like, it's one of the best desserts ever.
I'm going to be honest with both of y'all. This is a really hard one because the pumpkin pie, your foundation was great, and then you went pumpkin, and then you threw a curveball because we don't really have mac and cheese at our Thanksgiving meals. I mean, it is delicious, but it's not but pecan pie is so much better than pumpkin pie. But
I would just like you to imagine this Thanksgiving he's just thrown out without stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Clint gets the point because the foundation was better. Yes. It was really hard, too, because I like ham. I like ham as well, but
foundation.
I think that you got to have the dressing.
Yeah.
So, the mashed potatoes is I can literally you could just serve mashed potatoes and I'm probably going to be okay.
Usually my seconds are stuffing and mashed potatoes.
He took some top tier Thanksgiving foods and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pick like cranberry sauce and,
that was really close.
Green bean casserole is solid too, by the way.
Are you a green bean casserole guy?
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Yes. Suck it, Brennan.
Oh my God.
Eat it. Well, you don't have to. Apparently you don't like it.
Now, the cranberries, that's not a make or break for me, but in a world where I didn't have to pick a winner and loser off that question, y'all both would have got a tie because those were fabulous answers. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Fabulous.
But yeah, green bean casserole, you would have probably got the point. Y'all didn't have to do a dessert, but that was optional. So
Yeah,
okay.
but you got to have some sort of dessert at Thanksgiving, right?
I really don't have to. I can just eat seconds and thirds and be good.
Well, I eat the seconds and thirds.
And then the
take
dessert.
a small nap, wake up for dessert.
Yep. All right. Good job, guys. Question 2. You're up, sir. If you could bring back 2 players from Texas Tech's history, 1 per game, to play in each of the final 2 games against UFC in Texas, who would you choose? So 2 separate players. They both can't play the same game.
I wish I was going first. I'll be honest.
All right. For the sake of the Texas game, because it is in Austin, I'm bringing back Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's the easy one.
So there's that one. For UCF, gosh, I feel like the weapons you have right now can fare well against UCF.
No, sir. Go ahead.
Look up stat, but all right. Just gonna look up a stat. That's fine.
I got you.
One thing
I already have my answers.
Proceed.
one thing that's been talked about is UCF's DBs. So I'm going to throw in Michael Crabtree in there. Not for the Texas aspect again, because you're playing in Austin. That makes a difference when you play in Austin, and Mahomes has a win at Texas. So I'm going Mahomes and Crabtree.
Okay.
Yeah, those were going to be my 2 because I think that
Wow.
those are the easy answers. So instead, I'm going to differ. I'm going to keep Patrick Mahomes because if you give me 2, especially at this level right now, you have to take Patrick Mahomes with your 2, or else you're wrong. So the only one I will differ is and I'll go Patrick Mahomes at Texas as well. So instead of Crabtree, give me Graham Harrell, and I'm going back-to-back quarterbacks. And the reason is not because I don't think Baron Morton's good enough. He's clearly not right. Like he's clearly not right. And if you can't block for him, it doesn't really matter on the wide receiver side what you're doing right or wrong. You have to give yourself a chance to win, behind the center. And I'm hoping he's healthier against UCF, but you could tell in the Kansas game that just something was off about him. And quarterback has been such an issue for you this year because of injuries. Give me quarterback twice, and I'll take 2 of the best that have ever done it for Texas Tech.
Brandon, point goes to you. Sorry.
Those are my answers, what he said first.
Yeah, and that's what makes it hard. I actually went a different way from both of y'all. I did, I'll go real fast because I know we got to get to our third question. I didn't go Patrick Mahomes. I actually think Graham Harrell had the better collegiate career. UCF is a must-win game, so I put Graham Harrell to go there. That way we can almost assure ourselves that we're going to win at home with Graham Harrell. And then for the UT game, since I didn't want to go quarterback, I wanted to give us the best weapon. I did not go Crabtree because I don't feel like we really spread the ball out that much. So I went Jay Samaro to have a tight end.
How was I the only one that shared a player and the game they're playing and did not get the point?
What do you mean? He did.
I went Graham Harrell UCF. You said Graham Harrell UCF.
I'm not playing against you. I just gave you my answers. You
Right.
went,
I literally shared an answer with you.
You went quarterback.
Question number 3.
So
Whatever.
It's the revenge of Matt.
Whatever.
It's the revenge
Whatever.
of Matt.
Question number 3.
You always find a reason.
Question number 3.
Clint, I want you to make a case for who is the best athlete in their respective sport that has never won a championship. And just stick to your 4 sports: basketball, football, baseball, or hockey. Anyone, just one
I'll
athlete.
tell you what, since we're running up against a break, we will come back. Brennan and I will not think about it so they're fresh in our minds, like we never heard the question. And we will... I shared an answer with you. Whatever.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Josh Faupel in for Jamie Lint, Brennan Riker in for himself. It is time for us to pick some games.
Oh, no.
That's right. It's time for blind projections. We will be sticking with college football for all of our picks. I figured I was looking at the NFL. I figured we would all take the Cowboys over Carolina. Mm-hmm. And then there's a very interesting Chiefs-Jets game, but that's not until Monday. So I was like, we'll stay away from it. So we're going all college football today. All right. We'll start outside of the Big 12. Some big games here to pick.
Oh, no.
Josh, you're up first.
Oh, no.
We'll start off with the number 5 team in the country, Washington. Huskies looking to stay undefeated to do it. They're going to have to beat Oregon State, 11th ranked Oregon State, on the road. The Beavers are a 1-point favorite in this game. Very interesting. Just picking this one straight up, Josh.
Oh, okay. I already forgot who the teams are. Washington State and who's playing?
Washington and Oregon State.
And Oregon State.
1-800-7 the score.
I will pick Washington State.
Washington?
Goodness, I'm already off. Yeah.
No, write down Washington State for Jamie.
Yeah, right.
No, write down Washington State.
No, it's going to be Washington. Yeah, okay. All right.
I'm going with Washington as well.
Oh, man. I'm not going to stray away from it. I am too far behind in the standings. I know that to some extent you have to do some math where you're different on purpose, but I think that's going to put me in the hole.
Yeah,
come on, risk it for the brisket.
For but you're gonna continue this. It's not like this is gonna stop. You have more basketball games, and I mean,
but we do these in seasons, and so our football season is almost up. Limited amount of time.
You're running out of time.
I'll take the Huskies as well. I think it'll be a really good game, though. How about 20th ranked North Carolina is at unranked Clemson, but the Tigers, Tyler, are 7.5-point favorites at home. They've played much better of late. Brennan, Clemson or the Tar Heels?
I'm kind of back and forth on this one because I watched the ending of that North Carolina and Duke game, but Duke is still also a fairly good football team. I want to go with North Carolina.
I went back and forth on this one as well. I think I've settled on North Carolina, but I don't feel very good about it right now, I'll be honest. I wouldn't feel good about it picking Clemson either.
Yeah, so I am picking for Jamie, essentially, so I'm not going to try to go out on a limb and stuff. I'll go North Carolina as well.
Let's go to Georgia, shall we?
Okay.
Actually, really, this is going to Tennessee because 18th ranked Tennessee is hosting this game. Georgia is a 10-point favorite on the road. We're picking this one with the spread.
Okay.
I will take Georgia. Yeah, I'll take Georgia. I'll take Georgia and the points.
I'll take Georgia and the points as well.
Stop picking what I pick.
That one's just not. I don't know. That one doesn't feel like that difficult to me.
I was going to pick Georgia too, but because we've had 2 straight picks already where we've all picked the same thing, I'll go with Tennessee.
There you go. Let's go to the Big 12. Oklahoma State at Houston. Picking this one straight up. Oklahoma State looking to bounce back.
Oklahoma State for me.
Oklahoma State.
I'm back and forth on this one too because
Houston's looking to bounce back too, but
I don't know.
Houston at home.
I don't know, man.
Create your own energy.
You know what? Fine. I'm going to Houston.
That's a dumb pick. Oklahoma State. Just kidding, Brendan. Yeah, give me the pokes. How about the Battle of the Blue Bonnets? Blue Bonnet Battle.
Gosh.
Boo. Boo. Historic. Awesome trophy.
I hate it.
It's so dumb.
Did you? I don't know if you paid attention or if you were listening at all for the score, but on the chat line we had it looks like something that Cracker Barrel could partner with.
Yeah.
And
no joke.
I said it was something you could probably find in a Hobby Lobby.
Also a good point. No, seriously, have you seen the trend where people will go to Cracker Barrels, and if you've never been to Cracker Barrel, they just have all of these knickknacks and old things and pictures on the wall.
Yeah, there's a front
and
shop, and then there's the actual restaurant.
And people will go and like take a picture of their dog and put it in black and white. They'll put it in a frame. They'll sneak it in, and then they'll hang it on the wall and see how long it'll stay on the wall before someone notices, right? Because it's so eclectic that it's hard to notice. Maybe the size would get this, but that is such a good point. Like, that is something you could do that trend with and be like, oh, look at this. It's the Battle Blue Toner. Oh, it's very nice little Cracker Barrel. That's in Texas. Okay. Like, so stupid.
If you look at the
is it my turn?
Brennan's up first.
Gotcha.
Oh, I'm up first.
Yeah.
TCU.
He shook his head as he said that.
Yeah.
That was a no vote in confidence of Baylor.
Okay.
That's what the.
I don't have confidence in the Frogs either, though. But I'll take TCU.
Yeah, that's a sweep on this one.
Oh, lame. How about Cincinnati at West Virginia? This is another interesting. This line was actually pretty close, even though West Virginia's at home.
My turn?
I think
your turn.
I think I'm gonna stray away from what you guys are gonna go on this one. I'm gonna take the Bearcats. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes my decision easy. I'm going to West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going West Virginia.
Okay.
Sorry for not a very exciting picks.
No,
chat.
I think you're gonna see a Mountaineer dud.
Really?
This week. I don't know.
Well, like for like a
confident in it, but I can see it happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the ugliest game in the conference this week, even uglier than Texas and Iowa State.
You'd be Cincinnati's best win of the season, or I mean, like most dominant win of the season.
Well, not dominant. I just think West Virginia and Cincinnati's defenses are much better than their offenses.
Okay.
Sloppy football.
Let's pick this one with the spread. Oklahoma's 24-point favorite. We'll bump it up to 24.5. They're at BYU. That's a huge number.
Oh my gosh. I'll pick BYU to cover.
Okay, there you go. Brennan Young University. How about you? That was a dirty look.
The fact that it's in Provo and there's I want to pick BYU, but everyone is inclined to pick BYU because we think, BYU's at home. They'll fare well at home, even though they're playing a ranked team. They play very good at home.
We're not picking them to win, Brennan.
I know, but we've picked all the same picks in this round. There's nothing. I'm monologuing.
Well, tell the schedule maker.
BYU.
Wow, I think you guys are crazy on this one. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Iowa State just blew out BYU at home, and they've looked atrocious the past 2 weeks. This is actually one of the easier picks. I had a harder time with North Carolina and Clemson than I did 24.5 point line. Give me the Sooners. I think they're just going to blow out BYU, and they'll look terrible again. 7th ranked Texas at Iowa State, straight up.
Straight
Josh?
up.
Yeah.
Okay. Iowa State. Who is Texas and Iowa State?
Texas at Iowa State.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll take Texas.
Brennan?
Iowa State.
Okay, I'm glad he did it, so I can go Texas.
Okay.
I was going to do it. I was going to do it if he didn't.
The picks, yeah.
We'll go to a real rivalry. This is the Sunflower Showdown. 21st ranked Kansas State is a 9.5 point favorite at 25th ranked Kansas, picking with the spread. Brennan?
Kansas.
Yeah, I'll take Kansas. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I'll take them in the spread.
What is
hoping 9.5 points.
Ooh. I'll take Kansas State.
UCF at Texas. We need a score on this one. I will go Texas Tech. I have them winning 33-24.
Texas Tech 35-28. I'll pick the same scores last week.
Did you say 23?
28.
28. UCF.
Oh.
28. Texas Tech 24.
Boo. Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Josh Faupel, Brendan Riker. We have discussed our tiebreaker in the break, and we're going wide receiver closest to the pin. Josh said.
Xavier White with 30 yards.
Brendan said.
Miles Price, 75.
I said Coy Aiken, 65. So here we go. We will see how it all shakes out on a Reviews Day Tuesday. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line from Panhandle Raider. UCF at Texas. Did I hear that right?
I heard it too.
Oh. It comes back full circle.
Yeah.
Apparently it did twice. Apparently I said Chiefs Jets, which I did not know I said. So
what is it?
It's the Chiefs and Eagles. It's a Super Bowl rematch
okay.
on Monday Night Football.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That one I didn't. I heard you say that, but I didn't realize that was wrong.
Oh, yeah, that is very much wrong. Monday Night Football is going to be
Right.
really good.
Cool.
And we haven't, well, hopefully, and that game's at Kansas City. I think that's a very. I talked about the Chiefs Eagles, you goober, your team, and you don't even know who they play. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know who the
here on
Packers play.
1-800-7 The Score. We'll just be wrong on everything.
This is just a show of we fully phoned it in.
This is make it into the 3 o'clock hour or the third hour. I mean, at 2 o'clock, and then we'll just reset.
Yeah.
It's a
Scramble
freak show.
That's
That's
why
all I got to
reset is
say.
there.
Yeah, it is a freak show. So I talked about this with Gus because clearly, we're in Cowboys territory.
Yeah.
And
The exception of Jackson and AD.
right, I mean, just mean for the bulk.
I know.
For the bulk of it, you are in Cowboys country, and every once in a while, if you're talking about the Chiefs, you're talking about Patrick Mahomes in this area. But every once in a while, like we'll talk about the Chiefs, and then it'll turn where it's just generally Kansas City, right? And I'll see, this isn't Chiefs territory. This is Cowboys territory, which I totally get. Don't get me wrong.
Eyes kind of
totally
glaze
get.
over.
But if you're a Cowboys fan and you're just in that vein,
Yeah.
and like you don't really care about the Patrick Mahomes Texas Tech Kansas City connection, then you are a Kansas City Chiefs fan this week because you're trying to catch the Eagles,
That's
right?
Yeah.
And Philadelphia, we talked about like the Cowboys, quote unquote tough stretch
Yes.
is coming in a couple of games. But for the Eagles, like they're just starting that, and really they started with you first, and they're coming off of a bye week, but they started with you, and then they have at Kansas City, and then they're at home against the Bills, which again I know the Bills are not playing elite, but that's still a playoff caliber team. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And then you have the 49ers if you're the Eagles. And then you see the Cowboys again at Dallas, and then they're at Seattle. So it's playoff caliber team, playoff caliber team, playoff caliber team. And if you are going to catch them, which I think is very important that you get as much home field advantage as you can, a la win the division. These are the games you're, as far as doing like the opponent math, these are the games that you're circling.
For sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
So, and then you get into, it's a repeat from the Super Bowl and all of that. Still Super Bowl favorites coming into this year. Will we get a rematch? All that kind of conversation, too, on Monday Night Football. But from a Cowboys perspective, and this is where, again, it goes back to you dropping that game against Arizona. Anybody can beat anyone in the NFL. They're all professionals. Even though you'll still have the underdog and the better team, they're still all professionals. But at the end of the day, you're looking back at that Arizona game that you dropped, putting yourself behind the 8 ball and having to be in this situation. And now that you've dropped that first game to Philadelphia too, which I thought you would on the road, I think you will get them back.
Split.
Yeah, I thought you would split, and I thought the home team would win both. So now, I mean, you have to do your part, and that will help. But that's just one game, and so. Because of you look back at that game you dropped against Arizona, and the math has started early for the Cowboys.
Brandon, are you a Cowboys fan?
Yes.
I wonder if you can answer this question a little better than Clint and I can. With the NFC North, any team in that division probably has that. My favorite team is X team, and whoever is playing this team, like the how prominent is that in Cowboys fandom that my favorite team is the Cowboys and whoever's playing the Eagles? Like how?
I think that is extremely common because as a kid, I did not like any of the division rivals, and I still don't. But it's pretty heavy on the Eagles. As a kid, I hated Eli Manning and the Giants.
I was going to ask, does it depend on who's the better of the three? Because clearly right now, Philadelphia is far and away the best of the three, like no duh. But it wasn't that long ago where the Giants were the best of that three.
Yes, and I hated losing to the Giants. I really disliked them more than the Eagles. As I've gotten older, I've understood, the history between Cowboys and Eagles, and kind of understood like, okay, the Eagles have they're arrogant and they have a extremely dislikable fan base, which makes that all the more dislikable.
Yeah, kick rocks, Billy boy.
Yes, go kick rocks. Exactly. Washington, I never really cared for.
It helps that they've not been super relevant in probably your lifetime.
But also, because the big thing used to always be Cowboys and Washington on Thanksgiving, and that would be a prominent matchup. So that's where you kind of see a little more disdain, and I think there's more dislike for older Cowboys fans. They probably dislike the Washington more than the other NFC East rivals.
Mm-hmm. But so my question kind of stems to, obviously you work in sports, so it probably works in your favor, but do you think Cowboys fans every week know who the Cowboys playing and know who the Eagles are playing, even if they don't know any other game that's...
I think that just depends maybe on the fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's just a blanket every Cowboys fan, and
with particular team, aside from okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, like so for you, I would assume even though they're terrible, your most hated team will always be the Bears.
Yes,
and so where maybe the Cowboys, it maybe depends on who's the better team.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just, I would say if there's just one, again, maybe I'm wrong here. If it were to just be, I always hated this team no matter how good or bad they are, it would be the Eagles. Well, like for me, like with the AFC West, like I will always, and this just depends on like when I was born and paying attention, because I will always hate the Broncos the most out of the AFC West. And most Chiefs fans, especially older Chiefs fans, would say the Raiders. I hated the Broncos because the Broncos were more competitive with the Chiefs when I was first kind of
getting into it.
And you had Elway there.
Yeah. Elway.
Yeah, there you go. And so that is more deep-seated in me than it is with the Raiders. Now, I despise the Raiders, and I despise the Chargers as well. But those are equal for me, where the Broncos cannot stand. And I know this has been tested because the Broncos have been terrible of late, and I was like, I still hate you the most. So,
and to your question, Josh, my Sunday as a Cowboys fan, it revolves around when do the Cowboys play. It's not okay, Eagles play at this time, so I'm gonna watch them to see if the Eagles lose. Now, as far as being a football fan goes, if I'm flipping through the channels and the Eagles are on, I might watch it because, I dislike them, but they're also good football team.
Yeah.
And their games have been fun to watch as of recent. But you plan your day around
your team,
your team,
for sure,
when they play, not necessarily when your rival plays and whom they're playing.
Yeah, I didn't figure you were like scoping out your opponent and stuff. I was just curious if you just like knew who they're.
No, Bill Belichick nor Jim Harbaugh have hired me yet.
It's a good question. Fun conversation. When we come back, we'll have another question. It's question of the day.
Ooh.
I may be calling an audible in my brain because I want to bounce off of that. It was fun. It's fun to hate, right?
Yeah.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Back with more next.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Thank you for joining us. Optimum Game Day Live tomorrow. We'll kick off the morning at 7 o'clock over on Double T 97.3. We'll carry you all the way through the Double T 97.3 Coors Light post-game show. Texas Tech hosting UCF. 4 o'clock kick. Looking for bowl eligibility. Both entering at 5 and 5. We'll get a little bit more into that in just a little while. But now, Clint Scott, Josh Faupel, Brennan Recker. Time for a question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie.
Your conversation piece
Yes.
has put me in the mind set of remembering hateable things in sports.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a pretty straightforward question, but we've never really got into on the bottom line.
Okay.
I just want to know, in the NFL, and you can maybe you can go football at all levels, doesn't matter. What player did you grow up hating the most?
Grow up hating the most?
Yeah.
Ooh. Grow up hating the most. Getting into the sport, I don't know that there was a player that I hated just because he was like the bane of my team's existence. John Elway's a good choice.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't have to be a rival team,
right,
by any means.
John Elway, Tom Brady.
Isn't it funny, the John Elway thing? Like, before the Super Bowl, did you hate John Elway?
No.
Right? Like, that's what the NCAA tournament does to me. I had no feelings towards Bucknell. I had no feelings towards Northern Iowa. I had no feelings towards VCU until they knocked the team I was rooting for out. And then I'm like, I hope they go over. Like, completely different roster, completely different staffs. I hope they go over.
That's good. I'm trying to think of just others around that time period, like would have been like when growing up, but not a single player, not like an individual player, comes to mind. But those are two really good options, just because of. Oh, you know who it is?
I don't.
Oh man, I cannot remember his name. Bennett. He's a linebacker for the Packers. Bennett, or starts with a B and ends with a T. It might be a French name, but that game against the Eagles. Headed to the playoffs, and it was a 4th and long, and it just blew it. And that's
from your own team.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just so upset.
That's rough that it's from your own team
yeah,
too.
My goodness, I was so angry. But you know what? Hate is very strong, but Favre could have fallen in that conversation multiple times just because of the interceptions and stuff.
Man, again from your own team.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh.
But Favre was so exciting to watch. Genuinely,
yeah. Did the exit not help with that too?
I wasn't too heartbroken, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't really bought in on Rodgers in the beginning, but I figured like things happen, and but yeah, even the Vikings signing didn't really faze me a ton.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not Nick Collins. Dang it, I thought I had it, but it's not Nick Collins. No, Nick Collins is the one that had the neck injury.
So I talked about disliking Eli Manning, and he's certainly up there. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I wasn't necessarily a 49ers fan, but I was following Michael Crabtree through his career.
Sure.
And I really disliked Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew.
I not only that certain game, but just his persona in general. Mm-hmm. I could not care for him, and I did not like Seattle. I did not like Seattle when they won the Super Bowl.
You didn't like the Legion of Boom.
Did not. But Richard Sherman especially was a dislikable player for me growing up.
Yeah. That's funny because, like, I don't think you're alone. Especially, like, post threaten me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, like that post-game speech, especially in this area. I think, like, okay, Richard Sherman, I'm going to hate you forever. But I wasn't a Sherman fan either before that. And, of course, with that was before, my time really getting invested with Texas Tech sports. But still, it's like Richard Sherman just got under my skin. But he's a great example of, like, an outstanding player that if he's on your team, I think you love. But if he's not, for the most part, very hateable when he played. And it's funny because that whole Legion of Boom, I think I liked every other member but Richard Sherman. Like Cam Chancellor, I mean, just because he was just murdering people from the safety spot. I liked Earl Thomas.
I liked Earl Thomas a lot.
I know that might be
I know this is before
from his lineage,
coming to,
but even then, like I just liked the NFL version of Earl Thomas.
yeah, he's
so-
fast.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that's a non-rival too.
Right. I don't remember. There wasn't too many memorable players in the NFC East growing up that I can remember.
Oh, snap.
Outside
What
of
about like Victor Cruz? I'm just kidding. I don't know if anyone hates Victor Cruz.
but yeah,
Nick Foles.
Yeah, Nick Foles is an interesting character for sure. Just how I don't think anyone, if you were to guess quarterback history of the NFL and be like, has Nick Foles ever won a Super Bowl? You'd probably be like, probably not.
Yeah. But he has.
But he has. With the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know who else has won a Super Bowl? Super Bowl winning quarterback, first Texas Tech quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. With Graham Harrell.
It's true. I guess I should give mine. I was going to go into the chat line. Mine, like, far and away, happened to be on two rivals, but it was just who he was as a player even before there. Bill frickin' Romanowski. Hated. Dirtiest player in the NFL.
Even, oh man, I'm blanking on his name. The Steelers player, and then, Cincinnati player that hit Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Romanowski was spitting on players.
Okay,
he was fist fighting. And granted, when this started, he was on the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember where he started. I think he might have started with the Eagles and somewhere else, but he was on the really good Broncos team, and then was just like him punching Tony Gonzalez.
Oh.
And then he had incidents before then, and then I think the spitting incident was when he was at Oakland. So like he went from like a team that I hate to another team that I hate, and then just happened to be just the dirtiest player on it. Fines all the time. I just couldn't stand him. Even like to this day, like when he was in what was it, The Longest Yard as one of the guards, I was like, why'd you cast him? I was like, oh, we're supposed to hate this? Okay. Done. You've done your job just by casting Bill Romanowski.
Speaking of Steelers, and I think someone's alluding to this in the chat line, but Troy Polamalu, I disliked the Steelers also growing up. Also knew a guy who was a big Steelers fan, so that was part of it. But I just really did not like the Steelers at their height of success. I like their head coach, but just the team in general with their what do they call their rowdy rags, or what is it?
Terrible towels.
Rowdy
rags.
I wish Landon was here. I so wish Landon was here. Noted Steelers fan.
Oh yeah, I forgot Landon is.
You should say that to him.
Why.
You and your little rowdy rags, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think he would take very kindly to that.
Was that on purpose?
No, I honestly didn't know the name, but I know they're like
that's even better.
They're super passionate about towels.
What is this, a Bed Bath and Beyond? super passionate about Dallas.
Let us know your most hated player.
Yeah. That was really good. I really like that. This from Panhandle Raider. Yeah, this was my question, too. Wasn't Cliff the first Tech quarterback to win a Super Bowl when he was with the Patriots? Because he did that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Then yes. Okay, I lied.
Take that.
Whoops.
Packers fan Josh. Dang it.
You just took that away from Graham Harrell, too. In my mind, mostly, but.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.